guys, it's Aid. I am just hopping on. I just finished editing this podcast episode. I almost wasn't going to release it today, but I just wanted to put a note at the top of the episode before we get into it. With everything going on in the world, I almost didn't want to post this episode just because we are in such a fragile state right now. I recorded this episode on Thursday before everything escalated over the weekend with the protests and everything happening in response to George Floyd, Black Lives Matter movement, and everything like that. So it is definitely a difficult and fragile time to be posting content right now for me personally, but I did feel that this episode can be helpful for you guys in terms of taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself, as well as being an advocate for the Black Lives Matter movement. I am going to be linking down below a lot of resources for you guys. I've been posting them on my Instagram stories. I just didn't know when else to make a comment about this because the video I had posted on Friday to my YouTube channel was already pre-recorded 2 weeks ago. So I'm hoping that this is my chance to speak up and use my platform for good and to show that I am an ally for the Black Lives Matter movement. I posted on my Instagram about this. I am a minority, I am Hispanic, and I am for the Black Lives Matter movement. It's just the right thing to do. I know that I am very privileged and I really just want to use my platform for good. So I am putting down below resources and ways that you guys can also support, whether that is through donating, signing petitions, using your voice, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if you have a platform of 50 followers or 10,000 followers. Every little bit counts and your voice does matter to be heard. So I just wanted to make that very clear before we got into today's episode. It's been a really hard weekend for me watching everything go on, and I've been having to also look out for myself and do what I can and not be on social media as much, but still find ways to use the time I am on social media to be impactful and to share resources and to be there for my brothers and sisters of the Black community that are hurting right now. I just wanted to make that very clear. I don't want to come off as tone deaf or that I'm ignoring what's going on. Vibe with Aid has always and will always be about inclusivity and spreading the good vibes and being there for people, advocating for people, being a part of the rave and festival EDM community. We talk about plur, peace, love, unity, respect. And I think we need to put the plur back into our community and show up for our brothers and sisters that are a part of the African American community. We can't just sit back and be silent anymore with everything that is going on. So I encourage you, if you are listening to this, to do what you can. Actions speak louder than words. It's more than just posting to your Instagram. It's more than just retweeting. Donate, sign petitions, go to peaceful protests and be safe. Whatever it may be, I am sending you my love and I'm sending you my support right now, and I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. Thank you for the support and for checking it out today, and I love you guys. Hey you guys, welcome back Vibe Tribe to Let's Vibe podcast hosted by Vibe with Aid. In today's episode, I'm giving you 8 ways to improve your self-care game that you can start implementing today. Happy Monday y'all and happy June. Holy moly, I cannot believe it's June. How are we doing? How are we feeling? I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling great. I can't wait to talk about what's been going on in the vibe check. For those that don't know, I took a week off after last week's podcast episode, off working from Vibe with Aid. This is my side hobby, my side hustle, if you will. So I still had a full-time job to work. However, taking a break from what fuels me creatively and I'm so passionate about just was like the perfect little reset I needed. And I'm feeling so refreshed and so excited and just so ready for what's ahead. I tweeted about this. There's just a lot of creative and manifesting energy going on that I am loving right now, and I'm just feeling so grateful for it. For those that are checking out today's episode, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, whether it's your first episode or you've been here. I'm so thankful you're spending part of your day with me. Make sure as you're listening to today's episode to screenshot it, post to your Instagram stories, share with a friend, rate, review, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Especially with what's been going on in today's world, I think we can all use a little self-care. I think my break really inspired today's episode to share some of the things that I've been doing to take care of myself a little bit better. And hopefully this can inspire you guys and you can share it with a friend. Word of mouth, your reviews, etc., helps spread the word of the podcast. So I appreciate it so much. This podcast is free. So if anything, it would just help me out if you guys would share it. And I appreciate any support. You guys know I love you. So thank you for being here today. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to shout out our Vibe Tribe member of the week. This is a listener that has been supporting the podcast. I was calling this High Vibe Tribe member, and that just was not working. That's too long. So we're just going to call it Vibe Tribe member of the week. Someone that's been supporting the podcast, tagging me on Instagram, all of that jazz. So this week's Vibe Tribe member of the week is Jess Hale. She is JP_Hale on Instagram. Jess, thank you so much for all the support. I see you tagging me on Instagram whenever you're listening. You've been a supporter of Vibe with Aid for a really long time, and I just want to thank you so much. And I hope we can meet at a festival one day. Thank you, Jess, for all your support. You guys, if you want to go check her out, she is JP_Hale on Instagram. One other thing, just so you guys know, as a little announcement, Let's Vibe podcast is going to be a bi-weekly podcast. I mentioned this last week in last week's episode, but just as a reminder, in case you go to your Spotify or whatever next Monday and you're like, where's the episode? We are now doing bi-weekly podcast episodes. I think that's just what's most manageable for me. This is a hobby, and I think the time that I put into the podcast, I want to be able to spend more time on it, as well as put that time elsewhere too. So I have been pursuing other things that I'm passionate about and excited about as well. I love doing this podcast, so I just think doing it bi-weekly is what's most manageable for me at this point in time. Of course, if this was my full-time job, I would do it weekly, but this is just what's good for my plate, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what it means to acknowledge what's on your plate and whatnot. So yeah, just a little heads up, but we'll keep trucking along into today's episode. Let's get this podcast going with a vibe check. If you guys are new to my podcast, I always do a vibe check at the top of the episode just to check in with you guys, what's been going on in my life, and hopefully it helps you check in with yourself. I don't really do too many life update videos, or I don't really update you guys all the time on social media, so this is a good way for you guys to know what's been going on with me. And hopefully it helps you check in with yourself. Like I said, today's episode is a little bit about self-care. So hopefully with this vibe check, we can just get ourselves in the mood to just self-care and whatnot. So what we'll do is we will take 3 deep breaths and I'll ask a couple of questions. So we'll take 3 deep breaths. So inhale it in and exhale it back out. One more time in and back out. Last time in and back out. How am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could make today better? What could I affirm for myself? What am I grateful for today? I'll go ahead and answer, and you can think about yours as you go throughout the day. So today, we're feeling pretty good. It's Thursday, so I'm now trying to record the podcast on Thursday. That way I can edit it over the weekend and have it be up by Monday. Trying a new process. Hopefully this works out well. We kind of have a weird setup going on, but I kind of like it. The lighting looks really good on the camera and stuff, so I'm really feeling everything. But we've been having a pretty good week. It's been a very sad week for the world, just with, Corona still happening, and then a lot of really sad things in the news, with George Floyd being one of them, and some other really tragic things that are going on. Not going to dive too much into this, but I did post an Instagram to my page just talking a little bit more about it and how we can be standing up and be allies for one another. But yeah, it's been really hard because I feel like I empathize a lot for these situations, but I'm trying hard to not take in that energy, you know what I mean? And social media has just been really not it lately. It's just been a very toxic place, especially Twitter. And I think my social media break last week has really helped me kind of scale it back. I'm not scrolling as much. My screen time is down. I'm literally just on those apps to post my content, engage with you guys, respond to messages, and then I hop back out. I'm really not scrolling a whole lot, and it's been really nice because there's just like a lot to take in, and it really gets down on you when you are ingesting so much media, whether it's good or bad or anything. It can just really take a toll on you. So I've been doing really good about that. I also started a new workout program this week. So I think I mentioned it before. I was doing Whitney Simmons' Alive program on her app. And she had an indoor 4-week program that I did. And it was okay. It didn't really keep me motivated. It was really kind of strenuous to do. Like some of the workouts were like 50 minutes and I just was not feeling it. So I started a Camp Gladiator boot camp workout basically, and they do workouts in person, but they're all virtual right now, and my friend is a trainer. So I've been doing those workouts. This week is like endurance, and it's a 4-week boot camp program, and then I think at the end of camp we'll have a week to like rest, kind of like there'll be some workouts, but it'll be a rest week, and then they start another camp. So kicked off camp this week. I'm so sore, but it's been so good for me because it's just accountability, you know? So I just have a trainer cheering me on. I'm with these other people doing it. So that's been really good for me. And just to get me moving and stuff. And I feel like I'm going to see really great results at the end of this. So I feel really good about it. That's why my hair's up, because I just didn't want to wash it. We're still DJing. We're still having fun with that. I will be moving apartments in August. So my roommate and I decided we are not going to renew our lease here. So she is going to move into a house with one of our other friends. I'm going to move into a 1-bedroom, which is really exciting. And I'm trying to be a lot more positive about it, because at first I was like, oh, I hate moving. You know, I'm a Taurus. I'm so lazy when it comes to moving. I just hate the whole process of moving. And so now I've kind of flipped it and I see it as an opportunity for a new place to have a more room to create and whatnot, because I do everything in my bedroom, you guys. Like I film TikToks, I film videos, I do the podcast, I work, all in my bedroom. And like sometimes I'll film stuff out there, but that's like our shared living space, you know, so I can't just like extend my stuff out there. So I'm really excited to look for a new place, because I'm hoping to have like a little corner with a chair and like a microphone set up so I could record a podcast like sitting in a cute little chair or something, and have a little dedicated area for filming. And I want to have a little DJ setup. Right now my DJ setup is at my friend's place, because he has really nice speakers, so we're able to just like mess around with the decks there, and that's been really great. But I want to be able to have that in my home, so I'm really excited. I'll be looking for a new place soon, so that is something that is coming, which I wasn't really expecting to be moving during this time, but I think it's going to be an exciting change. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm trying to think what else. I might be biting the bullet and getting a new camera. There's a new Sony camera that just came out that is for vlogging, and it lasts filming for like 45 minutes. And I love my camera. I'm like looking into her eyes. I love my camera. However, the Sony a6000 has a detachable lens, which when festivals come back, that camera is technically not allowed unless I have a photo pass through a press pass, which I usually don't apply for the photo pass. So I usually have to sneak in my camera. I've only had one time where it almost didn't get in, but I had a press pass and the lady didn't know the difference between a press pass and a photo pass. So I lucked out there. So the new Sony camera is really great. It doesn't have a detachable lens. It's a built-in camera and everything, and you can film up to 45 minutes, which around the 20-minute mark, my camera overheats, which is not ideal for recording the podcast and stuff. So yeah, we're making some changes. We're elevating our life. I'm really excited about it. We're manifesting some things. I'm feeling great. We've had a lot of opportunities flowing to us that I've just been really excited about. So can't wait to share it all with you guys. But yeah, that break off just like did it for me. I felt like so refreshed. I got to reflect on so many things and figure out, you know, what is the next step for me. Like I have my career, obviously, but that career is going to help me fuel what I'm really passionate about. So all exciting things. I'm so excited. What could I do to make what I'm feeling better, or is there a need to? I just need to go to bed. I'm tired. I need some sleep, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in some self-cares, acknowledging when you need that sleep. 3 things I'm grateful for today. So I wrote, I'm grateful for letting myself rest and honoring my break. I did log into social media maybe once or twice throughout my break, but that was just to check DMs, make sure I didn't miss anything, because sometimes I get business opportunities and stuff like that through my DMs, so I wanted to make sure I was good to go there. But yeah, I'm really glad I took that break and acknowledged that I needed to take a break, and I'm feeling so much better about it. And I feel so much more excited about the content I'm doing and the videos that are coming up, and we're pumped. Number 2, I am grateful for my growth. I had some instances this week where I realized how far I've come just talking with friends. Talking with Emma and Ashley today, we had a really good, impactful, insightful conversation. That just makes me really glad to have them in my life. But I was also realizing and recognizing what I was saying, and it just was kind of like registering to me that I have grown a lot as a person, and so I am really grateful for that. And I was also talking to my hairdresser about some things, specifically related to the breakup, that I thought were really, powerful thoughts that I was feeling very empowered by. For those that don't know, I got broken up with at the beginning of 2020. I know I mention it every now and then, but it was a big pivotal changing point in my life. There will be a podcast episode about how I got through my breakup, because it definitely was a catalyst for how I'm sitting here today. And I just feel so in love with myself. And I just feel so happy to be me. And I just feel so grateful to be me and stuff. And had it not been for the breakup, I don't think I would be in the same headspace that I am in today, is basically what I'm getting at. So talking with people has definitely helped me see my growth, and just recognizing that, I'm really grateful for it. Last thing, today is Thursday, May 28th when I'm recording this. It is my parents' anniversary, so it is their 26th wedding anniversary. I'm 25, so their wedding anniversary was a year before me. So yeah, Mom and Dad, I'm so grateful for you guys. I know Mom's probably listening. I don't know if my dad is, but I just want to thank you for everything that you guys do for me. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait to hug you. I'm really sad. I don't know when that will be, but I'm really grateful for you guys and for helping me get to the life that I've always wanted to live and whatnot. So thank you, Mom and Dad. And then finally, my affirmation for today is my sticky note that is on my computer. I've been saying this so much, it's why I put it as a sticky note. I got this from Queen Sheeran. I think I talked about this in last week's episode, but it says, I'm absolutely incredible and so talented in so many ways. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I think everyone should have this sticky note written on their computer, because it has changed my mindset so much about myself. Like, it has just helped me realize, like, yeah, I am talented. I am incredible. Like, I do deserve these opportunities that are coming to me. I think when you've been a content creator and an influencer, or whatever trade you're in, whatever you're passionate about, whenever you've been doing it for so long, it's hard to feel like you're making progress in it, when really, like, whatever you're able to do, like, you're so talented, and you don't realize that and recognize that a lot of time, because you're comparing yourself to others, or you're trying to think, what's the next thing I can get to? What's the next milestone I can hit? Whatever it may be. And I think just having that has helped me be a lot more confident. I'm feeling more confident in reaching out to brands and negotiating with brands and like stuff like that, that I'm just like, whoa, who is she? You know what I mean? So that is my affirmation. I think everyone should have that written, because once you start visualizing it and seeing it on paper and you start saying it to yourself, then you really start feeling it, fake it till you make it kind of thing. So yeah, I'm just going to read that again in case you want that. So I'm absolutely incredible and so talented in so many ways. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up, baby. That is it for this week's vibe check. So I'm going to take a quick break, grab some water, and I'll be right back, and we will be talking about how to up your self-care game. Alrighty, so self-care. Why is self-care so important is what I want to start with. To start, you only have yourself. You really only have yourself at the end of the day. You have this one body, this one mind, this one soul that you have to take care of. And it's your responsibility to take care of it. No one's going to take care of it for you. So how can you be putting yourself first? How can you be taking care of yourself a little bit better? It's important because I feel like when you get everything kind of in line and taking care of yourself, everything external kind of follows. You know what I mean? Like when you're just feeling good about yourself, I feel like good opportunities start flowing to you, you know, and good things start happening to you. It's this weird kind of like law of attraction, right? I've seen it happen where I'm getting my health in order. I'm getting like, you know, I'm cutting out alcohol and doing all these things, and I'm able to progress in other areas of my life because I was putting myself first at the start and doing things to take care of myself. And then that helped me kind of make strides in other areas. I hope that made sense. But when you put yourself first, you'll see tremendous things happen. And if you're at a place where you don't feel like you truly love yourself yet, that's okay. Self-love takes time. But I think self-care is a form of self-love that can help you keep moving that needle along so that you can get to a place where you love yourself and where you genuinely are happy and content with the person that you are. It's crazy to ever think that like we're at a place where we don't love ourselves. Like it's just so crazy to me when you think about it that we're just so hard on ourselves. We're so critical of ourselves because we just have these preset notions or conditions or things of like, we should look like this, we should talk like this, be like this, when like we should just be fully accepting who we are. You know what I mean? And so I think when it comes to self-care, I think it's just important to start having those routines, those practices, things that you can be doing to keep looking out for yourself and caring for yourself and give yourself that extra loving that you need. If you're like me, you tend to give all your care and love to other people and to other things. But, you know, going through a breakup, I learned I can take that all back and it's all mine now. But now I know better for when I get into my next relationship or I'm involved with my next partner, what I need to be doing to make sure that I'm still looking out for myself so I'm not completely devoting my love and care towards someone else. You know what I mean? I think especially with what's been going on with everything, I think implementing just one of these things I suggest today is just going to help in some sort of way, I hope. You know, it's going to be a process. It takes 21 days to make a habit, is it right? Or something like that. So do what you can and try your best to just be making an effort, you know what I mean? Just acknowledging that I need to take a rest. I need to log off social media, any of those things. As long as you're making an effort day in and day out, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? No one is keeping you accountable but yourself. Of course, if you want to find a buddy and be like, hey, would you want to work out with me? Or would you want to meditate with me? Or whatever it may be, find ways to keep yourself accountable. If that is something that you struggle with, then rely on other people, rely on your support system and whatnot. Find ways to keep yourself accountable, whether it's rewarding yourself or another thing that keeps me accountable is when I notice how good I feel about it. Like how good I feel after a workout, how good I feel after getting 8 hours of sleep. That is what keeps me accountable and keeps me going because I'm like, I like this feeling. I want to continue feeling this feeling. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep that feeling going. You know what I mean? Similarly, like when I was trying to cut out alcohol, like I hate being hungover. I hate losing a whole Sunday or Saturday being hungover. I hate having to take off a day, half day of work because I was hungover from a Sunday fun day or something. You know what I mean? Because I hate that feeling so much, that wants me to keep myself accountable for the times that I do drink to like slow my roll or to not drink. You know what I mean? So find those ways to keep accountable, I think, is what's going to help you when it comes to these things that I recommend. And go easy on yourself. Be patient with yourself. And yeah. So let's get into it. I broke it down into 8 different categories. I got this from Pinterest. I didn't come up with this myself. I don't know where it stemmed from because there wasn't a source. But yes, I got this from Pinterest. Just to give you guys a little bit background, this is not coined by me. However, I thought that this was a really great way to break it down and to provide different activities or exercises or things that you could be doing to up your self-care game. All right, so the 8 ways to self-care, we're going to break it down by physical, your body, basically taking care of your body. Number 2 is mental. So what's going on up in your mind? How can we tend to your mind? How can we take care of it? Through mindfulness, self-talk, therapy, whatever it may be. Number 3 is emotional. So that's the other side to your mind, basically, tending to your emotions. Number 4, spiritual. So we'll talk more about meditating, benefits of going out in nature, journaling, stuff like that. Intellectual. So also tending to the mind. It could be reading, learning, picking up new hobbies. Environment. When we talk about environment, that is like your space that you're in. Making sure it's clean, safe, decorate your space, clean your space, whatever it may be. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Number 7 is social. So setting boundaries, creating new connections, managing your connections, stuff like that. And then finally is financial. So some people might not think money is a form of self-care, but I think managing your finances is a form of self-care, because you want to make sure that you're budgeting properly, you're saving money properly, things like that. So number 1, physical self-care. So when I talk about physical self-care, in that Pinterest guideline, it listed out nutrition, exercise, and sleep. And it can also be just other things such as taking care of, for me, I'm taking care of my skin this year. This was a big priority of mine, is to get my skincare game down. Taking care of your hair, your nails, skin, whatever it may be, can also be a form of self-care. But the 3 that were listed here, nutrition, obviously eating right, making sure that you're fueling your body with the necessary nutrients that it needs. I follow a plant-based diet or a vegan diet. You can look at episode 9 if you guys want to learn more about my journey to becoming vegan. That was just more so an ethical choice, but I also have found it to be quite a good nutrition choice for me as well. And I'm still getting the same amount of protein I would if I was eating meat. I haven't seen too much of a difference if you're looking to lose weight, because I am still doing the same amount of calories and macros as if I was eating meat. So I'm still seeing the same amount of progress that I can't really compare, because weight loss is calories in, calories out. No matter which way you put it, it doesn't matter it does kind of matter what you eat, but at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. So you need to be at a calorie deficit to lose weight. So I haven't really seen a difference between that. But when it comes to nutrition, that is one of the purest forms of self-care, honestly, because when you eat like crap, you feel like crap, right? So when you eat well and you're eating balanced meals and whatnot, then you're going to feel good and your body is going to function the way that it needs to and everything like that. So that is something that is super important. Also, taking any daily vitamins and stuff like that can be really beneficial. I take a multivitamin. I take echinacea for immunity. I take vitamin D because I'm inside a lot of the day, so I need to make sure I'm getting enough of that so I don't get a deficiency in that. And I also take magnesium at the end of the day before I go to bed, just to help with muscles and stuff like that. It helps with like soreness. So yeah, nutrition. Things that you could be doing to help with your nutrition. It's really hard to just say like, oh, I'm going to go on a diet and cut out all the bad stuff. That's not really sustainable. So find ways that you're able to create a balanced diet for yourself. One of my rules is that I love snacks. I love Takis. I used to love hot Cheetos. If I have a snack in my pantry, it's going to be gone by the end of the day. So one of the things that I do is I don't buy that stuff. I just don't even bring it in the house. I just don't want to be tempted with it. You know what I mean? So that's something I do. We can do a lot more into nutrition, but I'm just going to do some high level tips with that. It's just to start figuring out ways that you can maybe cut out eating out a lot more and start cooking at home a little bit more. Maybe not do as much food delivery. Stuff like that. That way you can be making sure that you are fueling your body with what it needs. Next, we have exercise. So get your body moving, get active. I'm not saying you need to exercise to look a certain way. Similarly, I'm not saying you need to eat a certain way to look a certain way. This is all about just making sure your body feels good. You know what I mean? So I work out, honestly, and I've talked about this in, I think I talk about this in my fitness journey episode, which was episode 11. I talk about my fitness journey. And at first, I was working out to look a certain way based off, you know, what society told me was going to look good and stuff. But I had gained a lot of weight in college, so I wanted to get back to what I looked like before then. But now it's all a mental thing. Like, I just feel so much better getting a good workout in and doing the Camp Gladiator workouts. I just want to be strong. Like, I just want to be able to do 10 push-ups without having to go on my knees to finish the rest of the set. You know what I mean? I just want to get swole. Figure out ways to get active. I know it's really hard with what's going on if you're not able to go to a gym or if you don't want to go to a gym. My gym is opening up today, actually, on June 1st. So I'm not even really wanting to go to the gym. I actually freezed my account for right now just because I'm doing this virtual workout program that I'm really loving. So find ways to get moving, whether it's virtual yoga classes, boot camp classes like I'm doing, HIIT workouts, whatever it may be. Find ways to work out just to get your body moving. Take up shuffling. I took up shuffling, and that is such great cardio, you guys. I just posted my shuffle progress video if you guys want to go check it out on my YouTube channel. But yeah, exercise, get moving. I also do a daily walk at like 2:30, depending how I'm feeling. So go do some laps around your apartment, your house, whatever it may be, just to get your body moving because we're kind of living a sedentary lifestyle being in quarantine. So figure out ways to get up and get moving. Next up, we have sleep. Sleep is so important. I don't know about you guys, but when I get 8 hours of sleep, I feel like I can take on the world. I just feel so much better about myself. I feel ready to take on anything. If you have trouble with sleeping, you could look into potentially doing, meditation before bed. I have Headspace, which does like a little guided like meditation before I fall asleep, which has been really great. I put ocean sounds on my Google Home. So those are some ways. Another thing that I've also been doing is I put my phone screen time off at 9 p.m. and I can't turn my apps on until 7 a.m. Obviously, I have some apps available, but especially with my social media apps, they turn off at like 9 o'clock. Which has really been helping. And I put my phone across the room at 8 p.m. and I'll read. So having some type of nighttime routine is really important if you have trouble sleeping. Having a nighttime routine where you're like doing skincare, you're stretching, you're relaxing, you're reading, whatever that may be, will help you kind of like calm down a little bit and just relax. Maybe cut out your screen time by like not watching Netflix before bed, not being on your phone before bed. All of that kind of helps as well. And then just make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to get that 8 hours of sleep. So I shut off everything at 9 p.m. I probably don't actually fall asleep till about 10, just depending. So I wake up at 6. Before I was waking up at 5 a.m. and I was just feeling so tired, still so groggy. So now that I've been sleeping a little bit later, I'm still waking up pretty early. 6 a.m. is still really early, but that's just helping me make sure that I get enough sleep so I don't feel like that, right? Another thing that I'll add to this in the physical aspect is to hydrate, you guys. Drink water. That is a great way, an easy way to self-care. I personally got this Hydro Flask, 1, because it fits a lot of water. 2, it has a straw. I just like drinking things out of straws a lot better. I don't know what it was, but water bottles that I have to open up the cap, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So definitely hydrate. Your body will thank you for it. There's so many benefits to drinking a lot more water. So find ways to drink a lot more water in the day. I always aim to drink whatever water is left in the bottle when I wake up. Whether it's a full bottle or it's half a bottle, whatever it is, drink a full one. And then I aim to drink another one of these by lunchtime and then another one before I go to bed. So I'm usually drinking about 3 of these, which is around the amount that I need, I think. Okay. The second way to self-care is mental self-care. So we're talking mindfulness, self-talk, therapy if you need it. So mindfulness, I am just going to read the definition just to make sure I don't fuck this up. Mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations used as a therapeutic technique. So when you're being more mindful, you're recognizing the thoughts that you're having, you're recognizing the emotions that you're having, you're not really judging them is another thing that I've learned. Having those mindful moments, you're just recognizing, yeah, I'm feeling sad. That's it. You're not really judging it and being like, I'm feeling sad and I shouldn't be sad, or I'm feeling sad and that this sucks and whatever. You're just recognizing like, yeah, I'm sad. This feeling is going to pass. Is there anything I can do to make this feeling better? Another thing it also talks about is being present, right? So not dwelling on the past, not overthinking about the future. This is something that I've been working so hard on because I tend to have social anxiety about things I said in the past or did in the past, and I get really anxious about it. So I've been trying to be better about letting that stuff go. But then I also get really overthinking about the future, and I overthink everything about the future. I'm like thinking about different scenarios, like whatever it may be. I literally drive myself crazy over it, and everything always ends up being fine. And I remember seeing this quote on Instagram that like 75% of the things that you overthink about the future don't even happen. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking about the worst case scenario, you're thinking about other scenarios, whatever it may be, and like the scenario that ends up happening was probably one you didn't even anticipate. So just being a little bit more mindful, being a little bit more in the present, recognizing your thoughts and your emotions and whatever it may be can help with that. Meditation can help with that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Self-talk. Oh, this is a big one, you guys. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. We're all just so hard on ourselves, and we don't need to be, but we are. And working on that takes time. It definitely takes time to get yourself from a place of being like, oh, you're so stupid, oh, you're so fat, whatever it may be, to getting to your place of like what I was talking about in my affirmation. Like to get to a place where I'm telling myself I'm absolutely talented, I love myself, I'm so creative, whatever it may be. That took time. Like I am telling you guys, like I did not start there. It has been a journey of self-care and self-love and recognizing and doing these affirmations, doing gratitude and stuff like that to get my self-talk to a place where I am acknowledging like, yeah, you fucked up, but it's going to be okay. I think the worst self-talk I have right now is when I overdrink and I'm hungover, or I did something embarrassing, or I did something stupid while I was intoxicated or being hungover, whatever it may be. That is where I'm still working on my self-talk and being like, yeah, you had a little bit too much fun. It's okay. Move on. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm still working on. But find more ways to just be a little bit more kinder to yourself, a little bit more positive towards yourself. Journaling can help this as well. Talking with someone can also help, and that leads to the next one, which is therapy. If you ever feel like you need to reach out to someone and get therapy, there is nothing wrong with that. I went to therapy for my first time this year. I never really saw myself going to therapy, but after getting into a car accident and then getting broken up with in the same month, I just needed to talk to someone that wasn't my mom, that wasn't my friends, because I just needed someone else to talk to that could give me coping mechanisms or give me other ways to deal with this or to understand what I was feeling. And that was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I learned so much in just 1 month of therapy that I've been able to implement into my daily life. And I'm so grateful for it. And if you don't even know where to begin in finding a therapist, you can always do a search on Yelp, a search on Google. If you have a full-time job with healthcare benefits, maybe sometimes they do pay for your therapy, so you might want to look into that. I paid out of pocket for mine, which was totally fine. I felt like it was an investment in myself, and I was really grateful for it. And a lot of therapists are doing virtual appointments now, so you can find ways to do that. I think BetterHelp is one. If you want to do a Google search on that one, I'm pretty sure BetterHelp, or BetterHealth. I think it's BetterHelp. I think that's one that a lot of YouTubers do ads for, but that could be something to look into. There also are a lot of hotlines that if you ever feel truly alone, you could always call one of those hotlines just to talk to someone and kind of just have someone to talk to. So yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend therapy if you can afford it and you have the resources to afford it and access it and whatnot. It can be really great. It can be really great, and I think we can move away from the stigma that going to therapy is this weird thing, because it's not. I've been trying to normalize it, and I've been very open about it that I've gone to therapy, and I haven't tried to hide it. So I think that's something that could be really beneficial. All right, next one is emotional. So this is where gratitude comes in, figuring out emotional triggers for you, as well as journaling can be a great way to allow those emotions to kind of come through. You guys know I love gratitude. That's why I put it in my vibe check. I've seen immense benefits just by expressing a little bit of gratitude every day. I think there's like a rule of thumb that like when you have a bad day or you're having a bad moment, just to find 3 things you're grateful for, and that kind of brings you back into the present and makes you a little bit more mindful of everything and can be really great for you. So gratitude is something that's really great. Affirmations, like I've talked about, affirmations is just affirming something for yourself. If you guys want to check out Affirmation Addict on Instagram, she is my friend Pyle. I've known her since middle school. She has some awesome resources on affirmations and the benefits of it and how you can benefit from it. The next thing is triggers. So figuring out what triggers you emotionally, I think, is something that takes a lot of work in recognizing that and a lot of responsibility in recognizing that. So whether it's people or certain events or certain things that might trigger you, I think it's important to know those things and to acknowledge those things just so you have an idea, and then figuring out ways to respond to them. Something that I really learned in therapy is that let your emotions just pass through. Whatever you're feeling is only temporary, and just feel those emotions. Specifically, she was telling me this when it comes to crying, because I was going through a breakup. I was going through a car accident. So she was really telling me that, 2 minutes of crying is better than 2 hours of holding it in and just letting it eat away at you. You know what I mean? So that is something that I found really helpful in figuring out what triggers you. For me, it was old memories that were triggering me. It was having to get into the car and drive past where I got into my accident was an emotional trigger for me. Songs that I related to my boyfriend, to my ex with and stuff, those were triggers for me. So figuring out that kind of stuff, and then just allowing whatever those emotions are that you associate with those triggers to pass through. But at the same time, if you're feeling happy, just relishing in that moment as well, I think is something that's super important to recognize. And then journaling. So I journal every morning, sometimes at night. When I was going through my breakup, I was journaling at night as well. Journaling can be a great way to get those thoughts and emotions out just on paper, how you're feeling. I know it can feel weird at first. You're like, who am I talking to? Even if you're just talking to yourself, you can pretend you're talking to someone, whatever it may be. Just try and journal it out, get those emotions out and whatnot. The next one we have is spiritual. So we have meditating, which I talked about. I use the Headspace app. I've been on the yearly subscription that I just started since Corona started. And I've really been liking that. I try and do it every day. I usually don't do it on one of the days of the weekend, so that usually messes up my streak. However, I found great benefits to meditating. It's just a moment to just pause and reflect and see whatever thoughts come up, let those thoughts pass, just be fully present in the moment as well. There are a lot of great ways to meditate, and you can just find a way to set aside 5 minutes out of your day just to meditate. I find that the app is really helpful in guiding those meditations. If you don't know where to start, they have like a beginner's course and everything, so that could be something to look into. Then we also have nature. So getting outdoors, I think, going along with getting active, I think going outside, especially during this time where we're quarantined and we have to be at home, getting outside in nature, I think, is something that's super important. Hopefully you have some nice nature-esque trails and hikes or something that you can do, or you can take a socially safe trip somewhere and get out in some nature. I've been craving going camping or something, and I want to make that happen soon because I just want to be out in nature and just away from everything for a little bit, just for a weekend or something. So maybe I'll be looking into something like that. But getting out in nature, seeing what this amazing world has to offer is always a great way to just kind of connect to the world and connect to yourself. Spiritually also, if you believe in a higher power, anything like that, whatever you might believe in, it's always good to get back to that or find ways to invite more of that into your life. For me personally, I grew up Catholic. I stopped going to church probably when I moved to Austin. I just haven't really found a church here. But I am hoping that when this is over, I can go back to church and find a church that's suited for me. I tend to like the churches that are more Christian, more open and willing kind of Christian, where it's like non-denominational kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to find a church like that and to be able to go back to church, but I've been inviting a little bit more prayer into my life as well. So yeah, whatever you might believe in, see if you can tap into that a little bit more, invite a little bit more of that back into your life as well. Number 5, intellectual. So whether that is reading, learning, or picking up a hobby. So I read. I'm trying to read one. I read. Yeah, of course I read. I'm trying to read one book a month. We've been successful so far. We are reading our next book for June. I finished one book in May, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I've been trying to read one book a month, and I've been reading at night. That's when I find it to help relax me. Sometimes I'll read in the morning. When I'm like eating breakfast or something, I'll read, or if I'm waiting on something, I'll read. I'm trying to replace scrolling on social media with reading. So, because I have some physical books that I'll get from Amazon, but I have Libby, which is our Austin Public Library app. So I get books through that are free. So if you're able to find ways to get books that way, you can also do like audiobooks and stuff like that. Learning. So finding ways to continuously learn, even if you've graduated from college and everything, I think it's super important to continue your education, whether it is through, master classes or thought leadership courses or whatever it may be, or just like learning something from YouTube can also be really great. There's a ton of free education on YouTube that you can find. I've been doing a Balanced Boss course with Chelsea Jade Curtis and JC Marie, and that's just been having to balance, your health and wellness, but then also attaining the goals that you want in life. So I've been really enjoying that, and I think I want to do more master classes. I've been teaching myself how to DJ, so I've been trying to learn that, which has been really fun for me. And that ties in with picking up a hobby. Picking up a hobby during quarantine has been really fun for me. I have been doing a lot more shuffling. I've been learning how to DJ, and those have been really, really fun for me. And it's just a good way, especially with those, I'm not on my phone, right? I'm focusing on what's in front of me, whether it's the song that I'm shuffling to or the song that I'm transitioning to the next song on the deck and everything. Just something that gets you out of your head, gets you off your phone, I think is really great. Next up, we have environment. So your environment, your space is so, so important. I maintain my space as well as I can. I try to keep it clean. I'll do a very deep cleaning from time to time, and that'll just feel so good to have a clean space. And I think with this quarantine, we've also learned that your environment is everything when you're being at home most of the time. So finding ways to decorate a little bit more to spruce up your environment. I've gotten some plants that are dying. I don't do well with succulents, you guys, I've learned. I have this Pilea, I think that's what it's called, from Trader Joe's. She's thriving. Succulents, not so much. I think they're dying because they don't have enough water, but really you should not be giving succulents that much water. So they're not doing too well, but we're trying our best, you know what I mean? But yeah, I've got some lights back here. I've gotten those rainbow stickers, if you guys have seen that in the last podcast episode. But doing something with your space definitely helps you feel more at home and just feels really good. So do a deep cleaning when you can, and that can really help you feel good about yourself and feel good about the space you're in. Next up, we have social. When it comes to your social self-care, meaning the friendships you maintain, the relationships you maintain, whatever it may be, the first thing we're going to talk about is boundaries. So setting boundaries, I think, is super, super important. When I first moved to Austin, I was a yes girl. I said yes to every single thing because I was just trying to make friends. I was just trying to get out there and whatnot. And now I'm like, I need to set better boundaries and, let my friends know if I can't make it to something because I need to rest or I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling like going out, whatever it may be. I think having those boundaries are super important. And I think especially when you go into adulthood, you also realize like you can't be in constant contact with your friends all the time. And so establishing those boundaries and expectations, letting them know like, hey, I am here for you. I love you. I just have a lot of shit going on. You know what I mean? I have so many of those friendships that have died off because we just didn't check in with each other anymore. And if you're not checking in on me and I'm not checking in on you, then like, what are we doing kind of thing? And that's okay. That stuff happens. But there are other friendships that understand that I'm busy and I understand that they're busy, and we're going to check in when we can with each other. We still love each other and we still care about each other, but we just can't be in constant communication all the time. So I think setting those boundaries and expectations is really important. There are a couple friends that come to mind that I just don't keep in touch with anymore, and I think they resent me because I don't check in on them anymore. And it's like, we're all just adults trying to figure this stuff out, and I'm really sorry, but got to set those boundaries, you know what I mean? And then connections. So we have our connections. Obviously, we have friendships, relationships, and stuff that we need to maintain, but also establishing newer connections, I think, is great. Finding ways to continue to network with new people, but also maintain your current friendships and whatnot by checking in with each other, setting up FaceTime dates, virtual happy hours, whatever it may be. It's really hard, but you know, if you just make it a goal to at least reach out to one new person a week, or, you know, go to networking events when those are allowed, I think is really great. Find ways to step out of your comfort zone and form those new connections, and then also maintain the current ones you have and constantly check in with those people. And also in your relationships too. Any relationships you might have, it's really important to maintain that connection and make sure that you guys are checking in with yourselves and that you guys are doing good. Hey you guys, this is Aid in the editing process right now. I just wanted to hop on and say also for social, when it comes to doing something like a social self-care, I forgot to mention social media. That is such a huge part of social in your social aspect of life. I mean, I log on to Twitter, and that has been affecting my mood lately given everything that's been going on. So I think setting social boundaries with your social media is super, super important. Whether you need to go on an unfollow spree to unfollow people that no longer align with the values that you have, or unfollow people that spread negativity to your feed, that are just constantly bringing you down. If you notice a change when you are reading their posts or engaging with their content, make sure that you're making your social media landscape a great place to be, and you're following people that inspire you, that align with the same values that you have and whatnot. Also, if you feel like you need to take a social media break or put some social media limits on how long you are using social media, I think that's a great idea. Like I said, when I took my break, I did not log on to social media, and it was really great. I think especially, like I've said, with everything going on right now, just a simple 5-minute scroll through Twitter and my mood is instantly just brought down because of all the negativity and just everything going on. So it is okay to know that you don't have to keep scrolling. You can take some time for yourself and log off whenever you need to. You don't constantly have to be in the know. I think growing up in the social media age that we constantly have this feeling of missing out, have FOMO and stuff. But when it comes to looking out for yourself, I think being able to log out is really impactful and will have really great benefits for you. We made it to the last one, you guys. Number 8. Finances is another way to up your self-care. I'm guilty of this too. We were like, we have no festivals, we're doing good, we're saving money, but now I'm online shopping like crazy. Or now I'm finding new things for my apartment, or I'm about to buy a new camera. You know what I mean? But finances is a good way to make sure that you are financially secure, whether you're budgeting, you're saving, whatever it may be. That is another great way of self-care because it's your security and making sure that you can have a roof over your head, that you can provide food for yourself, that you can take care of yourself, whatever it may be. I think I've had one episode on adulting while going to music festivals, and I think I've had a video on saving money, which was also, I think, an adulting episode, I want to say. So go check out those episodes as well. But setting up a budget. I don't really have a budget for myself. I kind of keep track of it in my head. I just kind of have a better idea of like, oh, like I don't really spend here, but don't spend there. I'm not really eating out a whole lot with quarantine, and I'm not really doing a whole lot of food delivery. So one of the biggest things I always recommend is downloading an app like Mint or one of those like spend tracking apps that lets you know, like, hey, you spent $100 on food delivery last month. Like, you got to change something. You know what I mean? Figuring out a way to analyze what you've spent helps you recognize, like, okay, I need to cut back on coffee, or I need to cut back on this. Maybe I can meal prep my meals so I'm not eating out all the time. Stuff like that will help you budget a lot better. And then saving. So they say that you should save at least like 20% of each paycheck and stow it away. So that's like a good general rule of thumb. Of course, if you can't because you have a lot of bills, you're really like tight anyway, I totally get that. But if you're able to save any way you can, that does go a long way. I think the general rule of thumb is at least 20%, I think, of a paycheck, I want to say, or 10%. I think it's 10%. But if you can do more, obviously great. If you can't, that's also fine too. Just try and do what you can to save a little bit of extra money. Obviously, when you're analyzing your spending and you're taking away some of the stuff, you'll have a little bit more money to save or to spend on yourself and treat yourself as well. That is it. 8 ways to self-care. We got through them all. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, environment, social, and financial. I hope this was helpful. I felt like this was a really great episode to come back to after doing my own little week of self-care by taking a break from everything. So I hope you guys liked this episode. If you did and you're watching on YouTube, please do give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, rate, review, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Let me know any topic ideas and any guests you guys would like me to have at Let's Vibe Podcast at vibewithade.com. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Stay vibey, Vibe Tribe. Bye.